Summer's over.
Summer's over and we've been on hiatus.
Little summer hiatus and fall, my favorite season.
Yeah,
in full swing
definitely
right
my
now.
favorite season as well.
Yeah, there's just something about the fall. I mean, yes, it is spooky season.
Yeah.
Right? Spooky season is always a fun time. And Thanksgiving just around the corner. Thanksgiving weekend this weekend.
I always have a thought, like every time someone says Thanksgiving, I always think of US Thanksgiving. And I don't realize that Canadian Thanksgiving comes up in October.
Yeah. Because Thanksgiving down there is like a super big deal.
Yeah, it's massive. But it's so synonymous for me just with being like football season.
Oh, yeah.
So it's always the first thing I think of just growing up watching football. So, you know, Thanksgiving means, hey, you got Thursday, Friday, like you got a whole weekend of football.
Whole weekend of football, and then you got the chaos of Black Friday. Well, not anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Like when Black Friday was first a thing, that was really, really fun and frightening at the same time.
Yeah, probably like this is pre-COVID, but you started getting all these stories and people filming, like people getting run over and like killed in stores. Like,
yeah, the original videos of like the Best Buy stampedes.
Yeah, those stampedes, like that, it's not healthy. I'm glad like that's calmed down. Hopefully it's calmed down for good.
Yeah, because I think like the whole like idea of the deal has been saturated where like there's so many sales throughout the year that you just don't even care anymore. Like Prime Days just happened like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
right?
That was just a couple days ago. You're right.
Yeah, and people going crazy for that.
And also I think now with all this technology, like there's tons of websites you can go on and actually see price guides.
Oh yeah.
And you can see the price fluctuation throughout the year, and you can see the high and low. So, I don't know if, how much odd people are coming in for like Black Friday now.
Yeah. And then for all you, peasants that are using Internet Explorer or whatever the hell it is, Edge now, it's got like this built-in plugin where when you look up a product, it'll monitor if like a price drops somewhere, and then like it'll pop it up. Hey man, it's cheaper on. Yeah,
these are honestly, like for those of you out there that don't know about these tools, like look into it. That's especially if you're not in a rush to buy something. There's some great plugins for your browser that can monitor prices for you, especially if you love online shopping.
Oh yeah, I mean a lot of people aren't aware of like browser plugins. There's some really really cool ones.
Oh yeah, I can't even imagine using a browser now. Like guys, come on, AdBlock. Everybody should be using AdBlock. AdBlock,
yeah. Give these guys a bucket every time that thing comes on. Just let them do their thing, man. They're implementing all the AI into all these browsers now. Like Copilot's like a big thing in Edge.
Yeah,
right?
AI is like everywhere now. Like you can't escape AI.
Yeah, the AI thing, we've touched on it a few times, and it's just getting weirder and weirder as the months go on.
Also, I think in a bigger picture, like at least at the consumer level, like for us, it's like when the Chat GPT first appeared, it's been like coming into 2 years now.
Yeah,
it's been a couple years, but like we're looking at a very basic implementation of AI, right? Like we don't if we expand our thought process of what actual AI looks like. Now, I know we'll get there's been a couple hurricanes, so I know we'll get into that. So imagine AI predicting weather models.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we expand AI out, that's working with quantum computers. Now imagine we're able to put, even health-wise, let's say we're able to take the entire human population data points for like the last 100 years of data sets that we have. We throw that into a computer, and now AI is going to basically pop out what maybe underlying factor this person has this disease, and it may find this X factor that every single person had that we never saw.
Yeah.
And now you can predict this disease 10 years ahead of time.
Yeah. I mean,
right? Like the function and the possibility of actual AI is massive.
Yeah. Just like with any other kind of technology, like the practical application for it is amazing, but we always just end up ruining it and doing something else with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like right now, this is a very basic version of it, right? Like people are using it to make fake essays.
Yeah. Not
fake resumes.
I don't know if I should say this now, but like you reply to some emails at work, and then like you don't know what to say. You just throw it into ChatGPT. Hey man, I gotta say this. Just give me something. Give me the bare bones. I'll tweak it out. That's fine. That's cool.
It definitely makes us like, I wouldn't say it makes us lazy. Like, you know, we are using it, but it definitely takes away from practical like applications of like, you know, skill sets that we developed when we were younger. Like most kids don't have that anymore because the computer will take care of it for you.
Yeah. Like I know like using AI is a skill in itself, but when you see it being implemented in stuff like Photoshop and all you're saying is like, hey, give me a mountain with a lake in front of it and it's going to give you this majestic work of art, right? Where does like the human touch even go at that point?
It gets so blurry, right? Like the difference between what's actually drawn by a human being and what's AI.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the stuff I'm sending you guys in the chat groups with all these AI arts that I'm creating. Like, what was the one? Like some sang in a Montreal Canadiens jersey lifting the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. That was like, I can see that in maybe 10, 15 years, but you know, it's so hard to distinguish like, whoa, like, you know, an artist did that or was that AI?
Yeah. Like you can, when you look at AI art, you can see that it's still like, there's some real dumb stuff that's coming out of it. But I mean, but that's where like the skill of using it comes in.
Yeah. That, like you said, right. It's definitely still a skill in itself to use it correctly, right? To have it model and create or, you know, spit out information that is valuable.
Yeah, those are the jobs of the future, people. If you really want to future-proof yourself, learn how to do AI prompts.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Start prompting on AI. Suggestion. You know, put it up on prompt base and sell it for a couple of bucks, man. You guys are making thousands a month just selling prompts for AI. And they have it for everything. They have it for like productivity. They have it for art, for music.
Yeah. That library is going to keep growing. Yeah. Like it's unlimited.
Yeah. Speaking of internet library, man, what was it last month? They shut that thing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's rough. That kind of bummed me out. Internet library had a lot of stuff that you go back to and like watch. But then, you know, the powers that be with copyright and stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, you know, another one in its place will pop up. You know, these are things that come and go, like, you know, since the beginning of the internet. You know, you'll get streaming sites taken down. Like we all remember torrent sites, you know, LimeWire, you know, things get taken down, another one takes its place.
Yeah, like
can't kill the internet.
Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with Internet Library, basically this was a place that archived content that wasn't like anywhere to find. Like it wasn't on streaming services. You couldn't find it on DVD, VHS, anything like that.
Like very like archival stuff, like older stuff that you wouldn't find.
But then, you know, some people see it and like, hey, we can make a buck off of this. Let's shut this thing down and figure it out, right? They're probably going to start a streaming service called Internet Library streaming service, and you got to pay for it. They're going to just keep everything. Be like, oh, give us $5 a month, you get Internet Library back. 100%.
That subscription model, man. That's what works now. That's what everyone's looking for.
Yeah, we'll start a Patreon soon. Oh my gosh. But man, crazy stuff, dude.
What a summer. Like speaking of, you know, we've been on hiatus, but man, what a last few months it's been.
Oh, we got to do it, man. We got to talk to Diddler.
Yeah, we got to go we got to go down the Diddy train.
I know like this thing's been, you know, beaten to death at this point, but it's just so much happening and so much keeps coming out about it. It is crazy wild.
It is. I think it's what surprised me was how it caught fire on the mainstream. Just because it's been talked about for, I believe, over a year now. You know, it's gotten some coverage. Obviously, you know, the few people, like we all know Kanye West, you know, had his moments in the past year. He straight up called it out. You know, people wanted to cancel Kanye. But yeah, it's just caught on fire now. And I also feel that they are also, you know, kind of creating a fall guy here, right? Like if you look at it,
I think it's the urban legends surrounding Diddy.
But I'm glad you said that, right? Because, okay, so there's this legend around him. People have heard stories. People have told stories. Like, what's the bigger crime? Like him hosting these things or the people participating and knowingly not saying anything? Like, if you think about it, how many people in Hollywood have said anything or in the music industry?
Yeah. I mean,
has anyone unfollowed him? Has LeBron unfollowed him?
No, I haven't heard of like anybody significant enough that said, I'm done with this guy.
Yeah. Like nobody's come out and said anything. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. The only one that stuck to his guns from day one about hating this guy is 50 Cent. And the second all this stuff came out, he was just having a field day with it.
Yeah, he probably still is, man.
Yeah. But this just goes back to like when we had the episode when we were talking about Cat Williams.
Yeah.
Right? When Cat Williams was coming out, like to a lot of people, that whole episode was just him incoherently just spewing stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I'm glad you brought that up because I recently was mentioning it to somebody. It was a family member and they had not seen it. So we threw it on, and on a rewatch, like I got so much more nuggets and connected so many more dots and things like I missed the first time. Now that we're almost done with 2024, like it's insane the things that he brought up and talked about that just makes so much sense.
Yeah, because he's like, we joked about like this was the year that was gonna take Hollywood down, and what was it? I don't know who it was that had the press conference last week. It was the DA or whoever was in charge of this case.
Yeah,
they're like, the list of names that we have is unbelievable, right? So I'm thinking like, are we gonna get this before we get the Epstein list, or is the Epstein list the same as this one?
I'm glad you brought that up. I was just gonna go there. So when I said like, okay, he's looking like this big fall guy, right? Like, what's the difference here between Epstein and Diddy? Like, why was it we were given absolutely no information with Epstein, but with Diddy, it's just day after day after day, we're just giving this information.
Maybe with Epstein, there was more powerful people connected. Where with Diddy, it's probably just Hollywood goons and music goons. I don't think Diddy probably had like these super powerful politicians at these freak offs, right?
Yeah.
And if
that's a good point, right? That could be, yeah,
let's
right.
Just
like
say
again,
if there was some head of state or some super power political figure that was at one of these parties, they probably would have wrapped this thing up just as tightly as Epstein.
Yeah.
Right. I think Epstein was connected way deeper.
But maybe another reason is like you said, maybe maybe they were just losing control, so they're trying to take him down, and it's like this is just the beginning. Again, we're just scratching the surface. Yeah. So and I'm not hoping this list comes out just because like I want it for entertainment's sake. By the way, I am waiting for entertainment's sake, but it's also like, we need to like know what's like, just bring all this crap down. That's the thing. But like for us,
like, it's like you hear stories and the cult of Hollywood and like all these what they're doing, and it's like, you don't believe it. But then this stuff
chalk it up like most people say, right? Chalk it up to a conspiracy.
Yeah, chalk it up to conspiracy. But this stuff just keeps coming out, and it's weirder and it's weirder and it's weirder, and it's like, it's just like does your brain just melt when you become celebrity? Like, does something happen to you?
No, I think there's a lot of. I think it's even bigger than that. I think when you have the amount of money that we're talking about, when you run out of things you can buy, that you just have an unlimited amount of funds, you're just looking for a more and more unethical, maybe immoral ways to go about life.
It's like,
right?
It's like, we talk about like, guys having like big contests about who's going to have like the bigger car, the faster car, or whatever, the bigger house and all that stuff. But now it's like these guys are finding out who's going to ruin their career in the most fantastic way possible. Right? Look what's happening with Mr. Beast.
Yeah. What a fall. Hey, this guy's taken.
This guy, biggest YouTuber on the planet, and it's crashing and burning around this guy too. And just yesterday, young Philly. Yeah. This guy gets arrested in Australia for doing dumb shit too.
Well, you know what? This is something I've always said. It's very difficult to get to the top of the amount of money we're talking about with these people without, either nefarious things happening along the way or just, plain evil things along the way. I think it's just very difficult without stepping on people to get there. And it's so rare for someone to be honest, and just be ideally like, the perfect human to get through to the top.
But there's some sort of like mental illness with this guy, man. Because when you're reading these allegations and like what happened in these freak offs and all these interviews that people are doing,
Yeah, but
you're like, this is crazy, man.
so I'm not here defending Diddy or anything, but
No, I wasn't saying
I want to
say.
say what I want to say is like the reason the list matters, like you were saying, is remember Diddy is just setting the stage for people.
Yeah.
Who are the ones actively participating? Where is the demand, right? Like I get the allegations. Okay, you're drugging. Like of course, there's horrible things that are coming out, but there's many people that wanted this and kept quiet and are still quiet, right? Like nobody's talking about it. No one's coming out and denying it. Nobody's coming out to, okay, no one's defending him, but no one's saying, hey, this is horrible. We shouldn't do this.
Yeah, that's been one of the
Like
weirdest
this silence
parts, right?
speaks of volumes. Like there's something going on here.
And the thing that pisses me off the most is when the whole thing went down with like MJ, like Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
right? Zero evidence, but this guy got slandered. He was being burned at the stake, and people were just throwing this guy to the wolves right away.
Something I didn't know about that. It's funny you brought that up. This was just recently, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know that he had the rights to the Beatles.
Oh, he owned the entire discography.
Yeah, I didn't know that he had the rights to all these artists, and that so like I know Sony made a deal with him in 1995, and literally he owned like most of the industry.
Yeah.
So there's many reasons to, do what they did to him. There's a lot of interesting things with that case, which I never paid much attention to it just because I never kind of, believed what they said about it.
Yeah.
But I know Candace did a great episode on just the connections of the doctor who was he was 21 right out of school.
Yeah, the one that was on watch when he died.
Oh, sorry, the security guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his security, like you were MJ security at 21.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are very eerie with what happened, and I don't really buy what they've told us, and it's unfortunate. Like they've literally buried him.
Yeah, and it's just there's just so many things about this that you kind of like shake your head at it. Like he's in the same jail that Epstein was in, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And he's cellmates with the FTX guy, right?
Friedman.
And I think they're like 2-3 cells away from where Epstein was.
Yeah.
And then he went on like that suicide watch or whatever.
Yeah.
The first couple of nights that he was there, like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Right. It's all kicking off now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and you're waiting for that news. Like you're just waiting for something to come out in regards to that.
Yeah, right? Like how you were saying, like we know all these stories we hear about, like look, I can name a couple things. Like for instance, if I just said these words out loud, Illuminati, producer's couch, Bohemian Grove, death, sacrifice, blood sacrifice rituals. Like we've heard these things for so long, like in some way or form, and I think we've created such a life with so many, we've created an easy life. Like no one's ever lived as well as people are living in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think we forgot that evil still exists.
Yeah.
And usually evil's hiding in plain sight. And, this is as evil as it can be.
Yeah. And we're just exposed to it, not because the advent of social media. You're seeing all this stuff right in real time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
And I think COVID woke up a lot of people, like, many people on the right, like, you can call them what you will, but a lot of people have woken up because they were either hurt or disappointed or just straight up pissed off because they were lied to.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And when your government can lie about COVID, something so massive that shut down the entire world, I think that just woke up so many people. And I don't know if that was their intent, but that's the consequence. And now people have woken up, and these topics on the internet are, taking everyone by storm.
Yeah, that's why you find like people who normally don't take interest in stuff like this, they're digging deeper because they want to know. They want to find out.
Yeah.
Right? Before it was like, oh, I didn't know that. But now it's like, oh, did you hear this? Did you hear that? Did you hear this? Did you hear that?
And the reason for that is because like I think people have have taken it not just personally, but emotionally as well. Like what happened with COVID. And I think, there's a lot of people out there that have put aside their egos and said, hey, I was wrong. And, there's more to this.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's not a bad thing when you got Joe Rogan, who's got millions of followers,
Yeah.
talking about everything and everything.
Yeah. Which is great. And like we were talking before we started recording just on like the whole Diddy thing, but just going on like separating the art from the artist, right? Like all you people out there, like a lot of things have happened to a lot of musical artists, but are you really not listening to their music anymore? Give me a break.
Yeah. Like
Ignition remix comes on. You're dancing your ass off. You forget everything about the R. Kelly thing when that music comes on.
You do. Like,
right?
Again, especially if you grew up through that music, right? That time and place. So it's kind of that attachment you have. So it's like something automatically switches in your brain when you hear the beat, you hear the music.
But like if you're in the car and like, something from like, like if All About the Benjamins came on, sorry. Like you're nodding your head to it, right? You're not going, ew, brother.
I think that's tough. I think like if you're, on the spot, like when you're listening to music, I don't think that's the mind frame you're in to, you just stop listening to music.
Yeah. I don't think I've met a single person that has legitimately cut out an artist because of whatever happened outside of the music.
I can see that.
I haven't
can see that.
Like you read online, oh, I'm deleting all my albums. I'm throwing out all my CDs. Like did you really? I don't think so.
I think you can apply that to a lot of things. Like, I think that's why, like, I know this whole thing about cancel culture, but, it's hard for people to have a real stance on things. Like, boycotting, you would think should be effective, but not enough people have the discipline to actually do it.
There's certain things that are easier to boycott than others. Like
for sure.
Like if you want to boycott like a clothing brand, that's fine, but you probably didn't buy that brand anyway, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Right? But to boycott music, good luck.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, like you're at a party or whatever, what are you going to go to the DJ and tell them, don't play this?
Yeah. Stop it. Turn it off.
So I get that.
Yeah. Believe me, you're two-stepping your ass off anytime these songs come on. I don't care who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to separate the art from the music, from the person.
Yeah, because even with like movies and stuff too, like, oh, I'm not watching so and so's movie because of remember what Johnny Depp went through?
Yeah.
I'm not watching Pirates of the Caribbean anymore. Why?
Yeah.
Right, and then it comes out that he did nothing.
But see, like, isn't it? It's funny. Like when you look back, he had to do that. He had to make such a spectacle so that people would believe him, because that's how crazy of a situation it was.
Yeah. And then, all these people that were like, I'm never watching it again. They're probably got it on DVD again.
Yeah, I got the original 3.
Damn right.
Box set sitting in my basement right now.
We don't talk about the 4th one.
Yeah.
What was the 4th one?
I don't even remember. Honestly, after the first 3, I that's it. I leave it.
That was the one with Penelope Cruz and the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, yes. That wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad, but again, like I like when they just end things. Like I'm not really looking forward to this, new version of Gladiator.
Yeah. That seems unnecessary, just like Joker 2.
Oh, do we want to go there?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go.
No, there's not much. No, I agree. There's not much to talk about. It's. I saw the original trailer. I thought it was a musical. I hoped it wasn't, and the movie came out, and it ended up being a musical.
I didn't have an issue with it being a musical because I kind of understand what they were trying to do with that. But
fair.
The story itself was completely unnecessary.
So I haven't even looked at that. Like I haven't even dug that deep. It is something I will eventually watch. But I think it's unanimously been said that this should never have happened.
I have never seen a movie like unite people.
Yeah.
This bad in a very long time.
I think that says a lot. This is like, I've never allowed a negative review to stop me from watching a film. But when it's, like you said, unanimous like this is crazy.
Like the last one I remember that was this rotten was probably Morbius.
Probably.
Or even Borderlands more recently. Like Borderlands
got crushed.
Yeah. Dude, up until this moment, I forgot about the Borderlands movie. And I was really jacked.
And I haven't even watched it. Yeah. Well, I'm going to check that out now that we spoke about it. I'm still check it out.
But this just goes back to like the power of the studio.
Yeah.
Right? Like the first one did so well, but it did well not for the reasons that you think it did well. It did well because it was just a good movie.
Yeah.
Right? And it wasn't just because it was Joker. You could have put anybody in that.
It was Joaquin Phoenix, like the acting, the story, the script, like all that matters. Like I don't like a lot of these films are just trying to sell off the brand, right? Like
he
they're
acted
just selling
his
the
ass
brain.
off in the sequel too, but that couldn't save this.
No,
because when you can do a bang up job, but when everything about it is just hot garbage.
Yeah, I don't think any actor ever saves the script. If the script isn't good, the movie's not good.
Yes,
like,
not good.
The script is the most important aspect of a film.
Like, what's the other one that just came and went and nobody even batted an eye? The Francis Ford Coppola movie. Megalopolis.
Yeah, I heard that lost millions. Like,
dude, apparently he had the script for this in like the 80s.
Okay, he's probably just waited too long.
Yeah, so I think he's been waiting forever because he's like, I needed technology to catch up for me to make this.
What was the rap on that?
It was just a bad movie. Like, I haven't gone deep into like what critics and people are saying about it, but that thing just bombed, man.
It bombed so hard because I just found out it already came out, so I didn't even know it came out.
Not good. But speaking of good, Deadpool Wolverine was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we didn't even get a chance to talk about that. Yeah, that was fantastic.
All right, we're going to do a full spoiler review for you guys right now, and you haven't seen it. That's your problem. Fast forward.
Yeah, I think it's already released to, like, you can rent it now, so yeah.
Disney Plus, it should be in a week or so.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you may want to block this part out.
Yeah. But I feel with Deadpool Wolverine, it was a really good way to kind of wrap up that Fox universe.
I think it was a fantastic way to just wrap it up. You know, just put a nice bow on it, and we're done.
It was great because if you went into it thinking that this is an MCU movie, you've already kind of like.
You know what? I'm so glad I didn't go that route because when I saw the trailers, I was like, I had a false impression that they were trying to blend this in to kind of save the MCU.
Yeah.
Right? Like, especially in the past year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
How bad the MCU has gotten. I thought they were going to use this film to kind of bridge a gap and kind of reset it entirely.
I think like when you watch the movie and you see the stuff that they did, you feel like this was kind of like an MCU therapy session.
Yeah.
Right? Where Feige.
That's well said, actually.
Yeah, where Feige was basically admitting to everything that they did wrong.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, we screwed up. We understand. We get it. Just give it to us.
Yeah.
Just let it happen.
That's probably why they allowed what they did.
They allowed what they did, and like some of the stuff that like you can tell they held back a bit, but there were parts I'm just like, yes, this like
I gotta say, I didn't know anything
great
about it, but my wife went all in, especially that whole controversy that was happening with Blake Lively and
which came and went in like a second.
Yeah, but I got her so into it, and then she, I guess she told me about this, like she was like teasing the scene, like the opening of the film with him like dancing to Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
In that fight scene, I thought that was so well done. Like, and it was something like great, obviously, for like, the kids that grew up in the 90s. But like the callbacks and like it was amazing all around.
I squealed when Wesley Snipes' blade showed up.
Oh, yes. Yes. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Well, whatever the camera, the CGI that they used to make him look young, the way they made him look, I was just like, holy, this looks like I'm watching Blade.
He's like, it's seeing Garner Electra, Snipes Blade, and then seeing Channing Tatum as Gambit.
What did you think of that?
I loved it.
Yeah, because from what I've got garnered, like, yeah, people really think like they really enjoyed it.
And
like, I think it was a success.
Yeah, it bums me out because that was going to be the movie that we were going to get.
Yeah.
But then I don't remember the reasons why, but that thing just got canned. Right? So I think they gave him the opportunity, like, here, we didn't get the movie, so come here and do this and have some fun.
I think it goes to what you were saying, right? Like, these are all the mistakes that they made, right?
Yeah.
Like, look at it. They get made fun of Electra was in it, right? We know how that film was, right?
Yeah.
So it was a great, like, the actors, not just the actor, but the characters they chose to be in this film had a reason to be there, right?
Yeah.
Like, in they had some history in the Marvel universe or a film flopping.
Well, it was the Fox, the Fox thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they did it. That's why, like, in The Void, the 20th Century Fox thing was like just all destroyed in the ground and stuff. But and they actually came out and they basically said that we tried something, it failed. We're not doing that again, and we're just gonna give you guys what you want. I'm happy that they came out and said that, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, let's we're gonna wait and see, right? What I don't even know what's their next couple projects.
Captain America is the next one.
Oh yeah, and the trailer's out already, right?
The trailer's out. The trailer looks pretty badass. Red Hulk they teased at the end of the trailer.
I saw.
Let's see kind of where they go with that.
Goes. Okay. What's after that then? Which I assume is leading into Avengers 5.
Well, Fantastic Four, but that's not part of like this phase. It's just like a separate thing. Like,
is that going to be like an origin?
Not an origin. Well, kind of, but it's set in like the 60s or something.
Okay.
Right, but it has nothing to do with like what they're moving forward with the new phase. Because I'm still really upset at the fact that they didn't keep pushing with Kang. Right? Yeah. You could have easily recasted this guy.
I don't understand why they didn't.
Right? Like if you really
you've already built him up. Like, yes, those movies weren't the best, but you built up a decent story background for him.
Yeah, like you basically made Loki, like the 2 seasons, like irrelevant.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right? You made it irrelevant. Deadpool fixed it.
So what was the explanation now that we're going with? Kang is gone?
I think they're just expecting everyone to have amnesia
and just forget about it.
This phase didn't happen.
There's no way the Marvel fans are gonna forget about it,
dude. I think that's why they put RDJ as Doctor Doom.
Oh,
right. You have the biggest baby face in MCU history, who's gonna become one of the biggest villains in MCU.
Yeah, that didn't go over too well, by the way. Like, yeah, people were excited, obviously the diehards, but people that kind of take a step back and kind of look at the overall big picture, we see what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
By casting him.
It's like dangling the keys.
Yeah.
Right? But again, let's see what they do, because if for them to do what they did in Deadpool and basically say, hey, we screwed up, our bad.
They definitely gave him a blank check to come back and save their ass.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. Oh, and totally forgot about Chris Evans in Deadpool Wolverine.
Oh yes, yeah.
That was brilliant, man.
Too bad it was short lived.
Yeah, but
it was brilliant.
The way that they brought him back, man, that was awesome. That was so good. I loved it. And in the post credit, it's so good. For those of you who watched it, you know what we're talking about. The ones who haven't, we're gonna spoil it for you. So they brought Chris Evans back, and like the whole point is Deadpool wanted to be an Avenger.
Yeah.
Right, and then they basically told him, "Nah, it's not gonna happen."
That was a nice thing too, right? They showed his interview at the Avengers headquarters.
Yeah, that was good. And then when you see Chris Evans on screen, and then you're thinking he's gonna show up as Cap, but he shows up as Johnny Storm. Flame on, when he said "flame on," that was outstanding.
People loved it, so I was in a theater and people went crazy when he said "flame on."
Oh, so good. And you saw like every actor in that movie was having a blast.
Yeah.
You could see they were having fun with it, man.
I don't think there was any scene or anything in that film that just didn't either have a story or a reason to be there.
There were some parts where the pacing was a little And I think they even made fun of it at one point where Deadpool's like, "Oh, don't worry, we're wrapping this up."
I was going to say that was probably when they were trying to basically get up the plan to what to get to I was gonna say Magneto's sister, but
Xavier's
sister.
Yeah, that's enough. We're gonna talk about the whole movie. That's fine. Go watch it, man.
Yeah, everybody, go do yourself a favor and go have a laugh.
Yeah.
It's a fun film.
Before we wrap this up, I want to give a shout out to VC, man. We're retiring this guy's jersey.
Yeah, we haven't touched on sports in a while, but yeah, we're finally doing the Vince. Obviously, many years too late, but we're doing the Vince Carter retirement.
This Vince take is it. I think it's divided 50-50, and whatever side of the debate you're on, you're sticking to your guns. What side are you on? Are you like, yes, it's about time, or are you like, nah, this guy doesn't deserve anything?
No, from day one, there was nothing wrong with Vince. I don't know why management got the pass that they did, but the franchise was a mess. Yep. There was Vince put Toronto on the map. Nobody can argue with that. The results of Team Canada in the past 5 years, thank you, Vince. That was all Vince and his effect on the Canadian market, on kids playing basketball and not, other sports. The massive effect he had, not just for the city, but in Canada, it's immeasurable.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate because the franchise was a mess. I don't know what right decision did they make during that time. And yeah, I've always been, hey, Vince was amazing for us. I've never been on the other side of that take. He deserves the flowers. If we were going to build a statue, I'd put him out there.
Yeah. I mean, we got to be honest. And all you people who are like this whole anti-Vince thing, no Vince, no Raptors.
Yeah.
They would have gone the way of the Grizzlies. 100% guaranteed.
That's a great point. Never even thought of that.
This team would not have survived. And just like you said, the effect this guy had on the sport and the country in general.
Yeah.
There's no SGA. There's no Jamal Murray.
Like that. Like the bigger picture.
There's none of these guys.
When you look at the big picture of what he was able to accomplish and affect, it's immeasurable.
Like, our generation, we were there when the team got started, and when this guy was in his prime and he was doing everything, it's like, but they did nothing to put anything around him.
No, they didn't. They never made one good decision around him.
Yeah, I understand at that time it was a tough sell to bring guys up to play in Toronto, but it just felt like there was just no effort to do anything to help this guy.
No, tell me one trade, one move, whatever they did at that time, that was the right move.
When McGrady came, you're like, all right, we got something here. But you needed to do more, right? Like you had to do more to help this guy. I get it. A lot of people are upset that he gave up on the team, but there's no difference in what he did than guys coming out publicly saying, I want to trade. I'm not happy here.
I was just going to say, guys do that and we marvel at it now.
It's so common.
We're excited. Yes, LeBron's going to go somewhere else. Yes, KD's going to this team.
Yeah.
So what? He was one of the first guys to do that and we're going to be pissed at him?
Yeah. The guy was thinking about his career. Yeah. And the team that he was at clearly wasn't making him happy and he wanted to
And look, in his defense, he's come out and said that, right? And I think McGrady's talked about it too, right? Like they had something.
But didn't Sam Mitchell, he had an interview a couple of weeks ago where he said he didn't actually want to leave.
Yes, I did see that.
Right? Like he wanted to stick around.
So Sam Mitchell, he mentioned, and that's what I was talking about earlier. He did mention, like, look at the organization. The organization just got scot-free, no blame.
Yeah.
Like, what was going on at that time? And
who was the GM? It was Babcock, right? Or was it Grunwald? I think it was Babcock.
Might have been the transition between the two.
Yeah, it might have been Babcock. Because that trade that they sent this guy to New Jersey was...
When we got nothing in, like...
No.
But that was a horrible trade.
Yeah.
So...
But
I don't really understand what people expected. Like, that's also the franchise's responsibility to keep your best player happy. Everybody knows, like, there's the top tier stars are making decisions, are the reason your franchise makes the moves that they do.
And I get it. Like, he was the first real superstar that we had, right? And when you have a superstar on your team, you never want to see him go. You want him there for life. And then I think that's just some people couldn't cope with it.
Yeah, right? I think like the emotional attachment, right? Like that's a lot of people have an emotional tie to that. And like, I can understand that because we lived through the peak of that.
Yeah.
And the excitement and the level of like entertainment he brought to Toronto and how meaningful it felt to be a Toronto Raptors fan.
What he did in the dunk contest with McGrady and Francis that year.
It's unbelievable. I will never, ever forget that moment.
Like we were watching it just because, yeah, our two guys are in it, but you weren't expecting what this guy was gonna do. And then when he did it, you're like, yeah, this is our guy.
Like these are moments in in NBA history that will be replayed over and over.
Yeah, like even they've legit put it on the city jersey this year. They have the Raptor doing the Vince dunk on the jersey.
Yeah, those are nice.
Right?
You may have to get one of those.
And to all you kids out there, kids who weren't even born when this guy was playing are the ones who have the hardest take on this guy.
Really?
That's the one that bothers me. I've heard so many kids tell me that he doesn't deserve it. Buddy, you were like 3.
No, this is the problem, right? Like nowadays, people don't have attention spans. Yeah. They're basically just repeating what they've heard, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So he got a negative rap. They're growing up. People are telling them this is what it was. They just repeat it. So, you know, they're not going back. It's hard. And I get it. Like, it's hard for them to put it into the context of the bigger picture of what was happening culturally and in the country.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm all for it, man.
I'm excited. I think it's about time.
It's about time. And then as soon as Lowry retires, his is going up right away.
Oh, yeah, probably right next to him, right? Like
100%.
I'm pretty sure he'd be the next guy in there.
Next guy. I mean, then Bosch too. You got to put Bosch.
You think
there.
so?
Yeah, you got to put Bosch.
You got to put Bosch in there?
If I'm going to do 3 Raptors, it's going to be Vince, Kyle, Bosch.
What would be the debate for the third if it wasn't Bosch? I guess.
Debate. Like if it's not Bosch, I can't really think of anybody. And I swear, don't anybody say Kawhi.
Yeah, you can't have 1 year on a team and be retired.
He came here for a year, did us a favor, bounced, and you want to retire this guy's jersey, but you're upset about Vince's.
Exactly.
Right? I don't want to hear
that. No, I don't want to hear that either. I give it to you. I think Chris Bosh is a good number 3.
Yeah. And outside of that, I mean, we've had some real good guys who were, loyal to the team, like Damon and stuff. But you want to retire jerseys, you're retiring those 3.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, for sure. All right. The belligerency is back. It's autumn. It's fall time.
Yeah, definitely good to be back, and definitely look out for more content because we are back, and we're gonna start throwing content out there at you guys again.
Yeah, we're finally back in the groove. Obviously, Jag wasn't here today. He's I don't know where he is, Prince Edward Island or something.
Yeah, he's traveling right now.
He's traveling. Yeah. He's on the road somewhere.
Yeah.
Tried to get this guy on Bluetooth, but that probably wasn't going to happen.
No,
that's
fine. This guy.
Yeah, he'll have his takes soon enough.
Oh, he's roaring to go. So we'll definitely have him on the next episode.
Yeah, the air's cooler now. Everyone's breathing fresh. The brain's clicking.
Yeah, man. We got the NFL season underway. We got the election. 3-4 weeks away? A month away? Yeah. No, less than a month away. We got 25 days till November 5th.
November Cinco.
Yeah, so
we got that.
Fireworks coming. So
a
lot to talk about.
Yeah, so we're back. Keep it locked on the page. Keep it locked on our socials. We're gonna have some stuff for you guys, and glad to be back, man. This felt good.
Yeah, this felt really good. Yeah. Really good to be back.
This is all right. And again, we appreciate all you who take your time to watch and listen to us. Like, share, subscribe, get the word out. The Belligerent Boys are back, and have yourself a great Thanksgiving weekend, man.
Yeah, have a good weekend, guys.
All right, we'll catch you next time. Peace out.